Let's start by saying thank you for Walk the Line.
There you go.
I'm a huge Cash fan. I worked in radio in Los Angeles, so I got to meet Johnny many years ago. Have a signed thing that he gave me before he passed when he was recording with Rick Rubin in Burbank.
I got to know him the same period. That's when I was working on the script.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that, but the script he read the script before we shot it. He died about 6 months before we started production on the movie. But I was talking to him. I would call him and talk to him every Saturday in Hendersonville, even after June passed. And I would just work on the script, ask him to tell me stories. So the script was made under his guidance.
What was it like to be on the phone with a guy like that? We're talking Wolverine, I promise.
Yes. But the most amazing thing was I would dial his number in Hendersonville, and John, I mean, this is kind of a sad, moving story, but after June passed, John kind of he had one small room in that house where he had his guitar and a bed and a TV and a record player and a phone. And so when you called this number, you know how when someone picks up real fast, you never hear it ring? So it was like calling God, because I'd dial his number, and it'd go, hello. And you'd go like, it would be no ringing. It would you'd finish dialing number, just go, hello. And,
wow.
And, no, great man.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
Why do we love the story of Wolverine so much? What is it that draws us in? People like me, I absolutely love it. I know the answer, but I want to know it.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Talking about Johnny Cash leads us right into that. I think because unlike a lot of the superheroes and their legends and their stories and their origins, the pain of this character is really relatable to the audience, meaning, you know, a lot of these characters have, they killed my father, or I made this mistake, or there was a lab accident, or ding dong, or whatever. But in this character's case, there's a sense of exhaustion, of the burden of being a superhero, that he's reluctant, that he doesn't want, that he feels like it's whack-a-mole. Yeah, we kill this guy, there'll be just another one. That he is, in a sense, not your average Justice League or Avenger member. He's kind of reluctant, hesitant, more like us in a sense. A little bit self-serving, a little bit narcissistic at times. Doesn't want to have emotional connections to other people. I mean, in that sense, he's like kind of a classic Western figure, like John Wayne or Clint Eastwood in many of their films. You know, kind of reluctant to get involved, salty, charming at the same time.
My birth city I saw a little bit of this film. I was born in El Paso, Texas. So when I saw that, I was like, there's a little West Texas flavor in this. Would you call this, Logan, does it have a Western? You kind of just alluded to that a minute ago.
Yeah, I'd say there's a Western feel. I think a lot of the movies that inspired us were Western. I think it's also, we were trying to make an adult film and also simplify. I think a lot of comic book movies go astray because they're so complicated. You're just you went back in time, you went forward in time, you got to connect the xenon tube to the ding dong and this and this and that, and you're like, I don't even know, something's going to blow up if that doesn't happen. And I just wanted to make, what's beautiful about Westerns isn't just their setting, also kind of noir films of the past, but it's the simplicity. You know, the simpler the plot is, the more you have time to get into the characters. The more the actors have time to shine, because the movie isn't spent explaining shit all the time. So the fact is that was what was most interesting to me about a Western element. But also having made, 3:10 to Yuma, for instance, I love Westerns, and that's always a part of me. Yeah.
That's when I saw that. I was like, all right. Any reason for El Paso, or just...
Well, it was the idea of the border. It was the idea to me that they're living in a border city, and that there's gang warfare going on. That there's a big wall. God knows we were prescient with that, and and on top.
I wasn't.
But you knew it was coming.
Oh yeah.
But and then beyond it, the idea that Charles and Logan are living in kind of anonymity south of the border.
Can I get this in? How awesome is Hugh Jackman to work with? I love talking with him. Nicest guy.
Well, it's my third movie with him. I think I've directed him more often than anyone else. He is clearly, from the repeat business, one of the most wonderful people to work with in the world, and most talented.